this video might be a little bit longer than the others. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to modify our current insert.php and change it so that it serves two functions. First of all, if a student enters an existing name or if someone enters an existing name into the database, instead of inserting a new record for them, it's going to update that record. And then we're going to have a secondary condition, which is, of course, if they're not in the database, it's going to insert it into. So we've already actually got that code in here. So what I've done in here is I've gone through and put some comments in. And it'd be a good idea for you to add these comments in as well, just so you know what it is that you're going to do in this tutorial and what the code is actually going to do. So this query here, I'm going to go query equals, I'm going to create a query to get any matches from the database. Query equals select everything from sports entries. So that's the select all from whatever, where. And here's where things get a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to have $name equals, where name, and that's the field in the database, equals $name. And that should be little n. And this will also need to be in quotes, like that. And then end that quotation, and in that line there. Now in the other example that I made once before, don't worry about this code here because this is from a different example. You can see here at the top, select star from sports entries where fname equals, and I've actually used the post name variable there, end. And in your one, you'll probably need to use an and symbol. I might do it in here. So let's go in here where name equals name and house equals $house. So what this is saying is we're going to select all the entries from the sports entries database or table where the name is equal to the name that's come through here and the house is equal to the house that's come through here. And then we're going to run this query. So that's this one here. And $results equals MySQLi query. This is how we actually run the query. The database we want to run it on and the query that we want to run. So it's going to run it on this database up here that we've connected to. And this is the query it's going to send, which is assigned to this value here. And it's going to store those results in results. Then for this next part, we have an if statement and a condition. Now conditions always go inside brackets, and what's going to happen is if the condition is true, it's going to execute that code. Now what we can do is go $row equals MySQLi underscore fetch underscore array $results. There's going to be two closing brackets there and no end line for an if statement. What this is going to do is say, okay, let's execute this command, and if it's true, meaning if it actually returns a result in this case, it is going to do the stuff in here, because if it returns a result, it means that we've hit a match, something in the database does match that, so there is a person in that house with that name. And we don't want to insert a new value, we want to update it. So then, if that is true, and we have found a match, then we're going to update it. So then I'm going to make another variable. I can actually just reuse the variable from above because I don't need it anymore. $query equals, and I'm going to put this on different lines because it's going to make it a bit easier to read. Update. And I'll have to double check the code for this. Update, yep, sports entries. So we update the table name, set, and then I'm going to set the values in it. So name, house, age group, 3000 M, 100 M, 200 M, discus. I'm just taking them from down below here, like that. And then on the next line, this could all be on one line. So these don't need end lines or end quotes. They could all be on one line. And I'm going to set it with values. I think that's how it's typed. No, I've made a mistake. Set name equals $name. and that's in quotations, $name. And then we've got house equals $house. And then age group equals $group. And then 3000M equals $M3000. And so on. So we've got 100 meter equals $100 meter. It doesn't really matter what order these go in, obviously, since we're assigning each one separately. Equals $200, should be M200, and that should be M100. And then lastly, discus equals $discus. And then we have the end quote. Oops, not true. Where, because we actually want to update a specific entry. And then we can just take this bit up here again. So where name equals $name and house equals $house. So where those things are true, we can end the quotation, which I've done here. Except that should have that around it, and it should have that around up there as well. And then end the line. So if I just go back and check this, 100 meter, yep, 200 meter, yep, so that's fine. And I've used post variables here, which is bad, but you can see that I haven't used them in this one that we're working on now. So there's the query, and we're actually going to run that query. So what we do is we go another if statement in here. So we've got a nested if statement. If MySQLi underscore query, oops, if not MySQLi underscore query, or we could do it either way. I'll just demonstrate this way. $con, $query, echo, one entry updated, end line, else, in this case it's saying, oh, I could probably just copy this same code here and put it up here, but I won't. I'll do it the other way around. Die, and I'll put this in here. Put that code in there. Now, you'll see that these are almost identical, except one has a not and one does not have a not. So this exclamation mark means not, which is essentially turns the condition not inside out. It will reverse the polarity of the condition. So it's checking to see if it's false or if it's true, whatever. It'll return the opposite. So if this is true here, this will return the opposite of true, which is false. So what this is saying, if this condition is true, the SQL query is executed, great, we're going to tell the user that one entry has been updated. In this one, if it's not true, in other words, there's been an error, we're going to tell them that it's died. Otherwise, if it is true, we're going to do it. So I've just done it the other way around below. Either way, it's fine. So we've got if, and then we go through this. Now, I could put in, I should put in here else, except if it does this and goes through here, then I do need to make sure that I don't go through this part down the bottom. So what I should do is put in an else statement here, and then do that and tab all these in like that. Now what that's saying is, if this is true, do this, else, if that's not true and we haven't found a matching thing, do this. So let's just save it and check to see if it works. Go local host internal practice. I'm not running UAMP, so that won't run. Let's turn that on. This is what happens if you have Skype running. It won't start. We go start. I should be able to run that now. Here we go. So let's type in my name and SSH under 15, 100 meter, 200 meter, and enroll. Enroll in events. One entry updated because I was already in there. So let's just try something else. Let's put in Bruce Willis. And he's going to be in SFY, under 14. He's going to be in those events. One entry added. Let's just add Bruce Willis to WWY as well. One entry added. Whoops. Now, if I view the class reports for SSH, there's me. SFY, there's Bruce Willis. And WWY, there's Bruce Willis in WWY. So there's two different Bruce Willises. He's in a different house group though, so it's obviously a different student. Now, there is some issue here, and it does come in down to the user, that if they put them in the wrong place, how do we delete them? That's something that is going to be up to you. How do you delete someone from the database? It's going to be a requirement of the internal. You're going to need to figure out how could you delete someone. What you could do is each of these lines here could actually be a form with a little X button next to it. So a tiny submit button that just has an X in it. You click that, it submits that information and dumps them from the database. So it's just going to be delete or drop. Not drop, that'll drop the table. Delete where Bruce Willis and WWY, whatever. So let's go back to the main page, which is here. And there should be links to get around a little bit better as well. Name Bruce Willis, WWY. He was in 100 meter, 200 meter. Now he wants to change. You go 100 meter discus and unenroll from those two events. One entry updated. This is WWY. So let's view WWYs. It's updated. So now he's in 100 meters and discus. So that's changed. And we didn't need an extra file. All we needed to do was add some code to that file that we had. So that seems to be working really, really well. And we're pretty much almost done here. There's just a few more things that I'm going to create videos for. And they're not going to be essential. They're going to be reference videos. You won't have to do them, but you can reference them and look at how I do it, then apply them to your own internal task. So once you've got this done, that is pretty much the final video.